secretariat service to the National E-Health Authority, and it will, now also it is doing some job. It is now basically developing and maintaining the National Health Portal. Professor Sarvadhikari, Suptan Sarvadhikari is here. You can interact with him to find more about National Health Portal. And this India Health Information Network, we really want it to be a collaborative body of the people in the government, people in the private sector, and not-for-profit sector. And the first meeting of IHIN is scheduled on 30th of May. In fact, we have requested FICCI to initially organize the meetings, but then what we expect is that IHIN should become a self-sustaining body with its own bylaws. Let it be registered as a society under the Societies Registration Act. Let there be membership contributions, and let okay, ministry will be a part of it, but ministry is not going to be the driver, in the sense that ministry actually will be facilitator, but the driver should come from the states, they should come from the private sector, they should come from the technology sector. So it is that kind of thing. And what actually was told by the previous speaker, we have now taken a decision that we will not support any e-health initiative under the National Health Mission unless it is based on open standards. This is a decision which has been communicated to the states very recently, because we have developed very huge systems like MCTS, HMIS, the central systems, and also there are state level systems, but these systems don't talk to each other. There is absolutely no standardization, and very soon we are going to notify the MDDS for health also. And we have also prepared a very ambitious plan of about 8,500 crores over a period of 7 years to establish interoperable health information systems in all public hospitals, and also to establish health information exchanges to facilitate exchange of information between the public system and the private healthcare system, as well as to develop healthcare repositories at the state level. And but the issue is, let me tell you very honestly, is the funding, because actually we are now in a very fiscally constrained situation. So what I would like to request this forum maybe to suggest to us, how can we implement these initiatives through public-private partnership. Basically, public-private partnership at the state level, mostly at the state level, because we want a federated architecture. We don't want that the patient's health records should be stored in by the central government at a particular location, maybe real or virtual. We want that maybe individual hospitals can store the patient's health records, but then there is a state level repository of indexing, which basically indexes all those health records, but when the patient authorizes his doctor, then he can access the information of the patient. So I think the details lies in basically the devil lies in the details that all of us know. So we need to do a really good job in thinking through how we can really establish such a system over the next 5 to 7 or 10 years. And I think Chandrasen he is actually supporting, he's from the Deloitte, and he is our program manager for e-health initiatives. He asked a question like, what is a good example? And okay, India actually there is no example that India can follow really. But then we believe that Canada is a good example. USA is not a good example, but certainly Canada is a good example. But the Canada spent about 10 billion Canadian dollars to promote e-health standards, both in the public as well as the private sector. And we really don't have that kind of resources that is available to us. So we have to think of very creative solutions. And later in the day, there is a presentation from Chandrasen, and he will be talking about various e-health initiatives, and then basically what is the basically macro policy environment that we are looking for. We are basically looking for like open standards, then mobile fast, and then cloud by default. These are not really buzzwords. Actually, we are trying to use that in developing any IT system in future. But we want the IT systems to be interoperable, to be based on open source standards. But the issue is that I think my takeaway was that we didn't really consider the interoperability between devices and the health information systems, because in our country we really, as of now, we really don't have a framework to regulate the medical devices. Medical devices actually, as of now, are treated as drugs under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. But I know my colleague in the regulation division is working on a policy for regulation of the medical devices. But then regulation is something, but then standardization of the medical devices and establishing the IoT kind of thing, like interoperability between the devices and the software system, that is, I think, maybe we have to think more about that, and I think that was a very important takeaway from the previous speaker. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nikunji. On the Canadian example that you gave, I think there's a very interesting person in Canada, Richard Alvarez, who used to head the Canada Info Highway. The interesting India connection he has, he's an Indian. He was born in Chennai. So maybe at some time I could get him to see, because these are all the bunch of people who want to support India in terms of what we can do in healthcare. So maybe next time, I think I missed out, I should have got Richard Alvarez to speak and help us, because Canada Info Highway is the body that implements all e-health programs in Canada. So any questions that you have or suggestions, I think Nikunji made a very interesting point that given the resource constraints and given the kind of things that we want to do, what are the partnerships that we can look at? We have definitely a few minutes to take questions before Devi Shetty comes online. And then we have, of course, people around to discuss one-on-one. So if you have questions, please.
Good morning, Dr. Alex from Bangalore. I represent AHPI. Very interesting question about medical devices. So I think standardization is very important, and I think NABH, unfortunately Gayatri hasn't come in yet, but NABH is starting to think of setting standards for medical devices. So there is something that the Ministry of Health should follow up.
In this country, what is the process to get on going there? Because that may be the starting point to.
Actually, the ministry has written to the Medical Council of India, MCI, to recognize e-prescription, but we have not really heard from them. But I think we have to give a legal sanctity to e-prescription.
Yes.
So that's why I told, when we are looking at legislation, we will take a holistic view regarding these views, like e-prescription, regarding teleconsultation, those kind of things.
So is there any way to expedite this whole process? Can industry, can legal bodies can provide some kind of support?
We identified basically 4 institutes like National Law University, Bangalore, IIT Kharagpur, and 2 more institutes. We will be writing to them, and they will be coming up with a draft legislation, and we will then put it in the public domain. We will invite the comments, and we will be happy to, as I told, that when we developed the EHR standards also, there was extensive consultation with the industry, with the academia, with the private sector, care providers, including the insurance industry. Because I believe the insurance industry can become a very important partner in promotion of e-health in the country, because they actually will be probably the greatest beneficiary in terms of settlement of claims. When actually things are standardized, many things become easier for them. So we also talk to them a lot, and I think we would be happy to take the suggestion of the industry in this regard.
Also might just get resolved in the process, because Section 8 would also accept the CSR funds as part of it. So you could actually take the CSR funds for development, which, you know, since it's for non-profit, you could actually use it. So maybe you can discuss that in detail, because you know, wherever we are trying to, at least in DATI, we are trying to come up with anything which is totally non-profit and for research and for well-being of people. I think the Section 8 is, which is the latest law, comes up.
Yeah, when I tell it is a society, what I mean is that it can be a society under the Society Registration Act, or it can be a not-for-profit company under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. So that way we are neutral to it. We basically want that an organization which is autonomous, works at arm's length distance from the government, but which is professional, and that is the kind of body we are talking about.
Yeah. We'll take a break.
Hello?
Dr. Devi Shetty is going to join
Hello,
us.
can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sir, can we call Dr. Shetty, sir?
We can hear you.
Yeah, can we call Dr. Shetty?
Yes, please. We're waiting for him.
Yeah, we're waiting. Yes.
We are waiting for Dr. Shetty to come in. I would just like to add to what you just mentioned about medical device regulations. Okay.
Sir? Your
Yes.
picture is blue. Your picture is blue.
Hi, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So we are all waiting for you to address us and share your thoughts.
Can I start?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm extremely grateful to Mr. Prasad and all of you for giving me this opportunity. I couldn't be there predominantly because I'm traveling this evening. I just want to talk primarily about the role of IT, how it can transform healthcare across the globe. Next big thing in healthcare is not going to be a magic pill or a fastest scanner or a new operation. It is going to be information technology which will allow healthcare to reach everyone on this planet. It will dissociate healthcare from affluence. It will bring down the mortality inside the hospital by 50%, and inside hospital cost will go down by 25% just by using digital protocol and information technology. The biggest problem of healthcare today is the mortality, morbidity and complication attached to the delivering healthcare inside the hospital. I have two front pages of the cover pages of two leading magazines in US. The difference is 50 years. The first page was the cover page of a magazine called Look, published 50 years ago with Jacqueline Kennedy's face, that mentioned about the mortality. The title is Our Hospitals Are Killing Us. 50 years later, Forbes published a similar article about how unsafe US hospitals are. US hospitals are some of the safest hospitals on the planet. But if 200 patients get admitted to an American hospital and they spend just one night in an American hospital, 1 out of 200 patients die due to hospital problem or a complication, so-called medical error. 1 in 200 dies in an American hospital just by spending one night, not due to the original disease, but due to medical error. It is not medical negligence, it is medical error. Getting admitted to an American hospital today is 10 times riskier than skydiving. It is predominantly because hospitals are not using the process and protocol, because the IT infrastructure is not created for conducive delivery of healthcare on a digital platform. Now that our government has agreed to go for a national e-health authority with the idea of promoting e-health, I have these suggestions. The most important suggestion is, when we create the regulation to govern EMR and digital protocol, we should not look at the wealthy patients who come to our hospital in a Mercedes. We should look at a poor man sitting outside the waiting area, sitting in the waiting area of a primary health center in Tripura or in Meghalaya. What he wants, how digital healthcare delivery will help him. How do we reach out to him? If we have him in mind, not the data privacy issue of a rich person in the city, we will be able to come up with the right regulation to promote healthcare. Now, in that context, we should look at mobile phone as the device of choice for delivering e-health program across the country. If we look at a desktop, we are not going to make any difference to the common man.